Hi guys, time for the last video, and I'm sorry this is probably going to be the longest one. This is a hard topic, so there's lots of examples, so I just wanted to say that. Thanks for staying in there and make sure that you ask questions if you need it. So here we go. We're back up to the top of the page. We're going to do example 4, and then we'll go back down to question 10 and finish the page out. So before we do this, we're going to start with what we've been doing. This is a subtract problem. The first thing I'm going to do is factor the denominator. So I need two numbers that multiply to be -6 and add to be 5. Well, that is going to be 6 and 1. Since this is a negative and this is a positive, the bigger number is going to be positive, the smaller number is going to be negative. So this factors to r plus 6 times r minus 1. So now I need to know what my common denominator is. So what's my common denominator from this one? Well, r minus 1. So I know I'm going to have an r minus 1. Okay, so now I'm going to look at my second denominator, which is here. So what does that one have that I need? Well, I've already got the r minus 1. It's right there. You can see the r minus 1. And I need a r plus 6. So r plus 6. So now if you look, this denominator looks like this one, and it has this one in there. So they're both in there. Then we're going to say, what do I need to multiply this denominator by to make it look like my common denominator? Well, r plus 6. So that means I'm going to multiply this one by r plus 6. And then what do I multiply this one by? Well, 1, right? Times 1, it's already there. So here we go. So I've got 4r times r plus 6 minus 28r. Okay, so I get 4r times r is 4r squared, and 4r times 6 is 24r minus 28r all over r minus 1 times r plus 6. So then I get 4r squared minus 4r all over r minus 1 times r plus 6. So I can factor the top. I can take a 4r out, and I get left with r minus 1 all over r minus 1 times r plus 6. So if I make a 1, I get an r minus 1 on the numerator and the denominator. So I get a 4r over r plus 6. And there is your answer right there. Good job, you guys. So, okay, good job. Now we're going to go down to question, I think we were on question 10. Yep, there we go, question 10. We're going to do the same thing we've just been doing. Okay, so there's nothing to, well, let's start here. It's a plus, it's an addition problem. Okay, there's nothing to factor here, so I am going to factor this one, however. So I need two numbers that multiply to be -20 and add to be -1. 4 and 5. And since this is a negative and this is a negative, that means my biggest number is going to be negative. So I've got m plus 4 times m minus 5. And that's my new denominator. Okay. Okay, so I know that this whole thing is, that whole thing, sorry, I didn't mean to cross that off, I meant to highlight it. This whole thing needs to be in my common denominator. So I know that I'm going to have an m plus 4 and an m minus 5. Now I'm going to ask myself, does this have anything in it that this does not? Well, no, because it's got an m minus 5, and this one already has an m minus 5. See that right there? It's already got it. So I don't need another one, so I'm done. Now I just need to ask myself, what does this denominator need that this one has? Well, it needs a, what does it need? It needs an m plus 4. So times m plus 4 times m plus 4. There we go. What does this denominator need that this one has? Well, nothing, so I'm going to just times it by 1. Good. So I get 1 times m plus 4 plus 1 times 2m minus 19. So then I get m plus 4 plus 2m minus 19 all over m plus 4 times m minus 5. And I just want to stop and pause for a second and say, no, I cannot cross off the m plus 4 on top and m plus 4 on the bottom because the top has addition in it. So I still have to combine all my like terms before I can make any ones. I can only make ones if it's multiplication. Okay, so I can't do anything until I combine all my like terms and then factor. So in my numerator, I've got m plus 2m is 3m, and 4 minus 19 is negative 15 all over m plus 4 times m minus 5. So in my numerator, I'm pretty sure I can take a 3 out, and I'm going to get m minus 5. So m plus 4, m minus 5. I keep forgetting my ending parenthesis. So there's an m on top and an m minus 5 on top and an m minus 5 on the bottom. So I get 3 over m plus 4. There you guys go. Good job. Okay. So I'm sorry I'm kind of going through these fast. I'm trying not to have the video be too long, even though it's still going to be long. So if you need to stop and pause and while the video is going on to take notes, please do so you can get everything that you need to be able to understand this. So here we go. What is the first thing I'm going to do? Factor my denominators. Good. So I need two numbers that are going to multiply to be 8 and add to be 6. Well, I'm pretty sure that's 4 and 2. So this is going to factor to g plus 4 times g plus 2. So that is gone. And so my common denominator is going to be, I need everything that's in this one. So I need a g plus 4. And I need a g plus 2. And then is there anything in this one that's not already in this one? Well, no, there isn't, because I already have a g plus 2. Okay. So what do I need to multiply this one by? Nothing, or just 1, right? And what do I need to multiply this one by? Well, I need to multiply this one by g plus 4. So if I multiply the denominator by that, I need to also multiply the numerator by that. So it keeps it the same. So I get 1 times g squared plus 4g. And then what am I doing to this one? Well, I'm adding it. Good. Plus 3 times g plus 4. So let's multiply that out. And I get g squared plus 4g plus 3g plus 12 all over g plus 4 times g plus 2, which gives me, let's see, g squared plus 7g plus 12 all over g plus 4 and g plus 2. So give me two numbers that multiply to be 12, add to be 7, 4, and 3. You already had it because we had it right there. So g plus 4 times g plus 3 all over g plus 4 times g plus 2. Make a 1. And I get g plus 3 all over g plus 2. There you go. Nice job, you guys. Okay, next. Whew. Good job. So let's factor this. I need two numbers that multiply to be 5, add to be 6. Well, that's got to be 5 and 1. So I get a plus 5 times a plus 1. So my common denominator is going to be a plus 5 times a plus 1. What am I going to multiply this one by? 1. I don't need to multiply it by anything. What am I going to multiply this one by? So I've got an a plus 1, and I need an a plus 5. Okay, so I get 4a, and then I'm adding, so I didn't mark that, so that's a plus 1 times a plus 5. 4a plus 5 all over a plus 5 times a plus 1, which equals 5a plus 5 all over a plus 5 times a plus 1. A plus 5, a plus 1. And have a 1 on top and a 1 on the bottom. Same thing on top, same thing on bottom. So I have left with a 5 over a plus 5. There you go. Good job, you guys. Okay. Nice job. Okay, we're still doing the same thing. So I need something that's going to multiply to be -6. Ooh. Multiply to be -6 and add to be -1. Let's see, 3 and 2. And this is negative and this is negative, so it'll be -3. So this is going to factor to p minus 3 and p plus 2. So my common denominator, as far as this side is concerned, is p minus 3 and p plus 2. And then this one already has p plus 2 in there, so I don't need to add anything else. Do I need to add, what do I need to multiply to my common denominator? This one to meet my common denominator, nothing, so I'm going to multiply by 1. What do I need to multiply to this one? Well, that would be p minus 3. So p minus 3. Okay, so, and again, this is an addition problem. So I've got 5 plus 1 times p minus 3. Great. So 5 plus p minus 3 over p minus 3 times p plus 2 equals p plus 2 over p minus 3 times p plus 2. P plus 2, p plus 2. So in the numerator I have a 1 over p minus 3. There you go. Good job, you guys. 3 more problems and we're all done with this. Getting a little harder to factor here. So I know, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a 4z minus 1. So 4z times what gives me 4z squared is z. And -1 times what gives me -3? Well, 3. And if we need to check that, we can. So 4z times z is 4z squared. 4z times 3 is 12z. Minus 1z gives me 11z. There's my middle term, so I've got it. You guys can multiply it out. We're just running out of room to multiply it out. So if you need to multiply it out on your page to make sure that it's correct, please do so. So my common denominator, I know for sure I need both 4z minus 1 and z plus 3. So let's see, we are going to be adding again. So what does this denominator need? Well, this one needs a z plus 3. Z plus 3. So this needs a z plus 3. And what does this one need? Right here. It doesn't need anything, so I'm going to just multiply this by 1. So I've got 4 times z plus 3 plus 1 times 8z minus 15. So I get 4z plus 12 plus 8z minus 15. 4z minus 1 times z plus 3. And I get 4z and 8z is 12z minus 3 all over 4z minus 1 times z plus 3. And what can I factor out at 12 and 3? 3, I believe. So that gives me 4z minus 1 all over 4z minus 1 times z plus 3. And the 4z minus 1s make a 1. Get left with 3 over z plus 3. Good job, you guys. Okay. Whew. Okay, 2 more problems and we're going to be done. Okay, here we go. So I need to factor the bottom here. And I know that 2r is going to be 2r and r. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be minus 3. And then this would be plus 1. But I'm going to check because I have space over here that I can check that with. So we're just going to check 2r plus 1 times r minus 3. And why did I decide it was r minus 3? I just want to point this out because this is r minus 3. And the pattern is shown since we've done this that this has always been one of my factors in the other one. Am I sure? No. Am I fairly sure? Yes. Okay, so we're just going to multiply it out. So 2r times r is 2r squared. 2r times negative 3 is negative 6. 1 times r, negative 6r. 1 times r is 1r, and 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. So I've got 2r squared minus 5r minus 3. Is that correct? Yep. So I've got the right factorization. So here we go. What is my common denominator going to be? Well, 2r plus 1 times r minus 3. Okay. So what am I multiplying this one by to make it look like this? Nothing. So this is getting multiplied by 1. And this is a minus. Okay. So what am I multiplying this one by to get this? Well, 2r plus 1. So I'm going to multiply this by 2r plus 1. Okay, so this becomes 1 times r squared plus 8r minus 12 minus 3 times 2r plus 1. Okay, so I get r squared plus 8r minus 12 minus 6r minus 3 all over 2r plus 1 r minus 3. So I get r squared plus 2r minus 15 all over 2r plus 1 and r minus 3. So give me two numbers that multiply to be negative 15 and add to be 2. 5 and 3. This one's negative. This one's positive. So my bigger number's positive. So this one's negative. So I get r plus 5 times r minus 3 all over 2r plus 1 times r minus 3. So I made a 1 here. And so I get r plus 5 over 2r plus 1. Good job. Good job, guys. Last problem. Yes. Okay. Last problem. And I'm going to say this on the last problem. At least for my class, if you guys can work out the work it out, send a picture to me through my email, through Canvas, with all the work readable, I will give you extra credit on this problem. Okay? Just so you know. That is my decision on this. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Bye. Get your work done.